Okay, good morning to all of you guys. Happy Tuesday. We are back. Today's training is going to be on multiple counter offers for the seller and the buyer. Last previous trainings, we've been talking about listing contracts and purchase contracts. So now we definitely got to find out how to write a counter offer for the seller or for the buyer or both in this case. Okay, so please make sure you have your pen and paper with you guys. And if you have your notes from last time, please also have them with you guys also ready. And today is Tuesday, October 25th, 10:06 a.m. All right, so if you have your RPA in front of you guys, please get it out. Okay, I'm gonna start with the RPA and I'm gonna touch different points. What to look for if you're helping the seller, okay? Because we definitely wanna emphasize and get the knowledge, the full knowledge, what to look for when we're doing a counter offer on behalf of the seller. Okay, so right now we're wearing our seller's hat. Okay, let me bring my RPA to you guys. Okay, so here you are, and you guys can see that, right? Yes, can we see my RPA? Awesome. Okay. So, okay, so if you have your RPA, your purchase contract, either you can highlight, underline. Okay, whatever helps you guys, please do so. Okay, so first things first. So we have our RPA, right? Right away, most likely your RPA should have what? A date, right? From the buyer's agent. Let's pretend that someone else submitted an offer to your listing. Okay. And we went through all this stuff. We went through the dates, the address, and everything else, right? Now, a lot of agents out there, when they write an offer, okay, and let me and I've been seeing this a lot when it comes to our sky slope. They don't select, for example, they don't select buyer or seller, or they leave the actions boxes blanked. Okay. If you go through the offer and you see the confirmation of agency that is blanked out, please go ahead and mark it off. Because if you don't mark it off, I will make a note of that on your sky slope. And I'm going to request from you guys to submit another form, which is your confirmation of agency, car form AC. So if you guys don't catch this from the beginning, I will make a note in SkySlope to you guys to provide confirmation of agency, which is car form AC. So if this is left blank, just go ahead and get your pen and paper, get a pen, and just put sellers on your side and buyer on their side. Okay, if you see that blanked, please. Sometimes they leave their space blanked out. So again, just fill it in, please. Okay, that's the first thing that you gotta look out for when you're checking on the RPA. And also, if they don't have your name filled out here, write it in. Write it in, please, as well. And also, you check the license number as well. Okay, so in other words, make sure 2B here is fully completed and filled out in the offer. And if it's not, fill it in. Because again, I've been seeing a lot of blanks here when it comes to our sky slope. So please take the time, fill in the name, the broker's name, your name, and select the boxes that are appropriate based on that transaction. Okay, and also if you're doing a dual agency, we talked about this. A dual agency is anybody working under the same brokerage with the same license number, right? If it's from Downey, Southgate, Lakewood, Long Beach, Cerritos, it doesn't matter. If it is the same license for the broker, you are a dual agent. Don't forget that. You are a dual agent. Now, if you get an offer, okay, from another Berkshire Hathaway agent, okay, and they have it as a single agency like that, okay, then please do not delete it. Do not white it out. Do not cross it off and put both buyer and seller, okay? Just keep a note of that, okay? We're not gonna cross it off. We're not gonna white it out, we gotta make it put it in our counter offer to disclose to the parties that this is a dual agent transaction. Okay, so again, if you see the same broker's license for Berkshire and the other agent who submitted the offer on your property, they had it as a single agency, seller and buyer, leave it alone. Okay, do not cross it off. Okay, so any questions on 2B? We're good on that? Yes? Okay, let's move forward. Okay, now let's go to the grid. Okay, so here are the items that I want you guys to look for. Okay, 3A. Now, depending on your sales price on your listing, this is going to be the first item that we definitely gotta point out. Okay, so you gotta either highlight, underline, okay, the sales price. So let's pretend the listing that we have for sale, it's going for $625, but we got an offer for $600,000 nowadays, right? So most likely, right, because they're asking something below the asking price, most likely I'm gonna recommend and encourage my seller to counter back on that price. Okay, right now, keep in mind your listing is selling for $625 and we got an offer for $600,000, okay? Another item that we wanna look for is the close of escrow. How many days they want to close escrow, right? So most likely, depending on the type of financing, right? So I'm gonna ask you, Naomi, okay, Naomi, because you should have your notes with you, okay? If it's all cash, Naomi, more or less, how many days would you recommend to close escrow? And please go ahead, unmute yourself. If it's all cash, Naomi.
All cash.
How many days would you recommend that you want to close escrow?
7?
No, my dear.
20.
We'd set from 15 to 30, give and take, right? So when it's all cash, we try to recommend our clients to close between 15 to 30 days, right? All cash. Okay. If it's conventional, 30 to 45 days. FHA, 45 to 60. Now, why is that? Because again, when it's all cash, most likely they have the cash on hand. You know, they have the liquid, the capital, right? Mm-hmm. Right, and we could do a 15-day escrow, or even shorter if you want. Okay, we could do a 7-day if you want to. It's okay, depending on how fast and how quickly the other party wants to close. Same thing goes with your seller. Conventional, we always do it from 30 to 45 days, depending on the type of conventional they're doing. 3%, 5%, 10%, 20%, right? It's gonna vary, right? And a FHA and VA, we go either 45 to 60-day escrow, because FHA and VA loans, they're more strict, right? And they always require more requirements from the lender and the buyer to comply, right? So please make a note of that, okay? But the rule of thumb is most likely to be what? A 30-day escrow. So this is gonna be your second item, okay, to please highlight, okay, on your offer, right? And make sure this, if it's all cash, also make a note of that as well, okay? Don't just go through the offer and don't just glance through the offer. Look through the offer, make sure everything's according to your terms and conditions, right? Okay, what else? What are they asking when it comes to price, terms, and conditions? Okay, this is not a all cash, so we leave it alone. Okay. Next item, 3C, right? So did they modify the expiration date? If they didn't, then leave it alone. Next item, okay, we're gonna go. It's gonna be D1. Right, D1. Now, on D1, okay, I always recommend to you guys to always bring a what? 3% of the initial deposit, right? Because that offer looks stronger when you guys do an offer for your buyer. But when you get an offer from someone else's and they only get they only put in at least 1%, then I'm gonna go ahead and counter back because I do wanna request a 3% earnest money deposit or initial deposit for the buyer to bring into escrow. Why is that? Because I want you to commit. And also it applies for liquidated damages as well. Okay, so another here, please highlight this as well. Okay, we're gonna come back to this one. D2. A lot of agents do not actually increase deposits, but if they do, it's gonna vary depending on many factors. Okay, an increased deposit is just even stronger on your offer. But okay, when you do that, okay, keep in mind they might deposit an additional maybe 5–10%, depending on the type of client they're working with, right? But make sure that it's removed upon all contingencies. Okay, if they're gonna make a increased deposit, okay, it needs to be done once they remove all contingencies, or maybe do a specific date as well. Okay, so please go through this as well. Okay, but if they don't, then don't worry about it. Next thing is gonna be the loan amount, right? Maybe they only put in what? 10%. In this case, it's gonna be what? 640. 10%, right? Now, when it comes to the loan amount, okay, please, that's the type of financing the buyer's trying to obtain. There's no need to counter back on the type of financing, okay? If they go on FHA, you cannot request for them to go conventional. And if they go conventional, you cannot request to go to VA or FHA, okay? This is up to the buyer, depending about what type of financing they're doing, okay? Now, can you request to put more money down? No, you cannot, okay? For down payment. You could request here on D1, but not of the actual loan amount. So this is up to them, okay? Now, if they left the actual percentage for how much they got approved for, okay? Then you got to make a note of that on your offer as well, okay? So also please highlight this part as well, okay? Because again, we want to make sure we give them a contingency based on their rate, okay? And also look out for if it's FHA or VA, because by default, what is it? By default is conventional, unless they have selected an FHA or VA or anything else, okay? Let's continue. If it's FHA, we know by default, they gotta present with us at an FHA or VA checklist, right? But we know that the seller is not obligated to do what? Any lender required repairs. That's on the inventory clause, FHA, VA, right? So the seller is not required to do any lender required repairs. Please keep a note of that. Okay, additional financing. This will be a second loan. Nowadays, there's not a very two loans involved. So most likely it's gonna be your first loan, and that's it. Okay, type of occupancy. By default, it's gonna be their primary residence, unless they have selected secondary or investment. We don't care if it's a primary, secondary, or investment. Honestly, we don't care. We don't, okay? We only care for price, escrow, initial deposit, okay? And sometimes on the rate, and that's it. We don't care for nothing else. On page 1. So any questions on page 1? All right, let's move on. Page 2. Okay, G1. Here's another one to look for, right? Any credits back to the buyer from the seller. In this case, this buyer is asking for how much? For $15,000 to be credited back to the buyer from the sellers, right? For closing costs, okay? For closing costs, right? Now, keep in mind that if the seller's allowing or granting or wants to credit back right? This dollar amount, the remaining difference, okay, that is not used is going to go automatically to who? To the seller. So in this case, if they're asking for 15,000 and they only use 10,000 for closing costs, the remaining difference is going to go back to the seller. It doesn't go back to the buyer, okay? Because this money belongs to who? To the seller, okay? And he's being a good, or she or he is being a good seller by doing a credit back to the buyer, but the difference shall go back to the seller, okay? Please keep a note of that, okay? When it comes to any additional terms, okay? Maybe, you know, deposit is coming from a gift, okay? Do we care where the money is coming from? Yes or no? Who says yes? Who says no?
No. Well, yeah, because no telling, it could be fraud money. I don't know.
Okay, that could be fraud money. Yeah, you're right. It could be fraud money. You never know, right?
Right.
Okay, but who cares for the who cares? Come on, participate here. Unmute yourself. Do we care? Naomi says yes because it could be fraud money.
As a seller, I would say no, but the buyer's agent and the loan officer would definitely be, concerned about where it comes from. They have to have it in writing.
Right, and here it is, Brenda. Right, It is in writing. So
Okay.
they're letting us know, we, the listing agent, just to let you know, the deposit that I'm putting into the escrow, right, is coming from a gift. And it's very common under FHA. It's very common to either get the deposit or even the down payment as a gift. So how soon is this money coming in? We need to know, right? So we definitely got to, now fraud, it doesn't really happen a lot, Naomi, but we need to know by when would this deposit be into escrow, right? We need to know. And who's gonna be the donor to provide that gift for the buyer? Does that make sense? All right. How soon and who's the donor as well? Because by default, right? By default, the buyer has how many days?
3 days.
3 business days, right? I'm sorry, where am I here? Here it is, yeah. Within 3, right? Within 3 business days, right? After acceptance, right? So what are your business days? Monday through Friday. We don't include weekends and we don't include holidays, correct? So within 3 business days, this money must be deposited into escrow. Otherwise, noted. So if they put 10 days, then you got to make a note of that as well, right? Now, let's pretend today is Thursday. The offer got accepted today, Thursday. Until when does the buyer have to bring into the money into escrow? So when will be the third day?
Monday.
Margaret?
Monday?
No.
No.
Anybody
What?
else wants to take a lucky guess?
Thursday, Friday.
Did you say
Monday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Again, we're counting business days.
Okay.
The offer today's Thursday.
Thursday, Friday, and Monday.
Oh, okay. Thursday, Friday, Monday. All right.
Okay,
Monday.
but again, you don't count the day of the acceptance, Margaret. The day of acceptance is day 0.
All right.
Okay, please always make a note of this. The day of acceptance is always day 0.
0.
Okay.
The next day is number 1.
So Friday would be the first day.
Right. Monday, number 2.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, number 3.
I've been talking, I've been muted. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was saying Tuesday is the third day.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Brent.
Now
Tuesday,
I got
correct.
it.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes. Okay, so yes. Now, what if Monday was a holiday? Miss Bailey?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, exactly.
Wednesday, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So when it comes to business days, okay, why is that? So why, when it comes to escrow, they want to emphasize business days? Because escrow only opens and works Monday through Friday, correct?
Mhm.
Yes. And they don't work on the holidays or the weekends. Now, when it comes to real estate, right? These are what? Calendar days, right? See, if you see here on the offer expiration, right? It says 3 calendar days, right? So let's say, right? Let's say now that today it is again Thursday, right? And if we don't comply or we don't actually answer back to this offer, when would this offer expired? On Tuesday or on Sunday?
Or Sunday.
Sunday, exactly. Because again, since this is real estate, okay, it's only giving us 3 calendar days. So Thursday is day 0, Friday is day 1, Saturday 2, and Sunday 3. So if we don't answer back to this offer by Sunday, automatically this offer is gonna expire. Okay, so please, the only time you see business days is right here. That's it.
Mhm.
Everything else is calendar days or just days. When you see days or calendar days, is Monday through Sunday, including holidays and weekends, right? Does that make sense to all of you guys? But you may say, well, Freddy, wait, hold on. So if escrow only opens on Monday through Friday, but we're in 30 days after acceptance, what if my 30th day lands on a weekend or holiday? What's next? What happens there? Who wants to answer me that?
The day after the holiday.
Exactly. It goes to the next business day. Thank you, Margaret. Okay. So if your 30-day lands on a weekend or on a holiday, it goes to the next business day. Okay. Does that make sense? Yes. Good. All right. Let's move on. So keep an eye on this. Okay. Okay. Let's move on. All right. So when it comes to all cash, right? Also go through this. Make sure that if it's all cash, they provide you the money, right? Either a bank statement, mutual funds, or anywhere that we could see where the all money or the all cash is coming from, right? Same thing goes with the verification of down payment and closing costs, right? 3 days. By default, it's 3 days. And also the verification of loan application, right? 3 days. Now, have they been pre-qualified, pre-approved, or fully underwritten pre-approval, right? Now, the fully underwritten pre-approval, that's also known as a DU approval, desk underwriting approval, okay? A pre-qualifier is just saying that that buyer is able, qualified based on the credit report and financials. That's it. A pre-approval, it gives you more detail about that buyer. It gives you most likely FICO scores, you know, credit reports, other good stuff, right? In the fully underwritten pre-approval, then most likely you probably get a DU showing you more details of, you know, about their ratios, the debt to income ratios, you know, their FICO scores, credit reports, bank statements, other good stuff, right? It's all there. So keep all this. It does make a big impact on your offer. Okay, by default, it is 5. Okay, the final verification of condition, that's your VP, 5 days of close of escrow, right? And everything else lands under 17 days, right? 17 days across the board, right? So real fast, okay? When it comes to the seller to provide all disclosures, reports, and everything else that the seller needs to provide to the buyer per contract, how many days after acceptance does the seller have to provide to the buyer? Within how many days does the seller need to provide disclosures and reports to the buyer per contract?
17 days. No?
7 days, Margaret.
Oh,
7 days. 7 days. Okay. My last one off. 7 days. And that's why I always tell you guys, when you guys are taking the listing, to always make sure to get all your disclosures out of the way. Okay. Reports, anything, including the preliminary report, any CD pre-sale reports, HOA, CCNRs, out of the way. And most of you guys, okay, I have seen that you guys wait until you guys get an offer accepted to go back to your sellers and start to work on your disclosures and everything else. And then you're asking yourself why the buyer has not removed any contingencies and why we gotta get extensions for the buyer to remove contingencies or to extend the escrow, because the city couldn't come in any sooner, because this is a city pre-sale inspection report. I couldn't get the HOA documents. I couldn't get the CCNRs. I couldn't get this. I couldn't get that. Please, I encourage and I recommend all of you guys on this call, if you're taking the listing or have taken the listing, please go get your disclosures out of the way. Do not wait until you get an offer accepted. If you're in a city that requires a city pre-sale inspection, Compton, LA, Southgate, Linwood, Maywood, HP, Gardena, please, please, please go get those reports. Call the city, pay the fee. Okay, the seller, not you. The seller has to pay those fees to schedule the city to come into your property or their property, right? To do their due diligence and inspect the property. Same thing if you have a condo, a townhouse, or a house that's in a community and it has an HOA, please get that out of the way. Do not wait until you get them for accepted. Okay? Because
Freddy.
Yes, Brenda.
Oh, okay. Are you on the contingencies like the loan and appraisals and all that?
Not there yet.
Okay, I was a little ahead. Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I saw you mention it. That's why I thought you. Okay,
no,
never mind.
Well, I'm getting there. Brenda.
Okay.
But see, when it comes to that, if we want to put pressure on the buyer's side, right? We need to comply and provide all this documentation to the buyer upon acceptance. So when you're going to accept an offer from that buyer, give everything right there. Well, congratulations, your offer got accepted. With that, here's a whole package for you to go through. And day 0. So the next day is what? Day 1. So now let's move on to contingencies, Brenda. Okay. Now, per contract, right? We know that the buyer has what? How many days? 17 days to remove all contingencies, right? We know that. And what are those contingencies? Come on, guys.
Loan, appraisal. I'm gonna mention 2.
Okay, we got four more. 4 more. Come on, folks.
Inspection.
Okay, 3.
Termite. No.
Well, that's part of that's a report, but yes.
Oh.
That's a report. 4. What else? Okay, here we go. Okay, take note, folks. Take notes. Here he goes. So it's gonna be what? Disclosures, appraisal, reports, I just blanked out. Thank you. Disclosures, loan, appraisal, reports, inspections, investigations. There you go. So disclosures, inspections, investigations, reports, appraisal, and loan. Again, disclosures, inspections, investigations, reports, appraisal, and report and loan. We good?
Do they have to be in that order? Or?
Well, most likely they go in that order, Brenda and Naomi. I'm sorry. They go in that order.
You know what? I was just trying to catch up. So I just got disclosure, appraisal, reports, loan, inspection, and investigation.
Okay, so let's go in that order. Okay, here it goes again, Naomi.
Okay.
So disclosures, because most likely you will get disclosures from the beginning, right? Disclosures, right? And then after the buyer after the buyer reviews all disclosures, the next step is to what? To perform your home inspection, correct? That's number 2. And then from your home inspections, most likely they want to do what? Investigations. Can I build? Can I do this? Can I do that to the property, right?
Okay.
Next thing will be your report. Again, term report, city pre-sale report, any other report that's been given to you. CCNRs, leases, contracts, who knows, right? What's next? So disclosures, inspections, investigations, and then appraisal.
I got loan and appraisal.
Okay, and then after, right, reports, appraisal.
That would be number 5.
Number 5, exactly. And after the appraisal has been met and done, we're just going for what? For loan approval. Number 6.
Number 6. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. But they don't always go in that order, okay? Keep that in mind. All right. And I think there was actually a question on the chat box from Aricelia. Show proof of the, okay, yeah. So show proof of the gift letter. Thank you, Aricelia. All right, let's go on. So continue. So when it comes to contingencies from the buyer per contract, right? They have 17 days after acceptance, right? So we know the day of acceptance is always day 0. The next day, regardless of which day it falls, right? It's always day 1. If it's a weekend or a holiday, it's always day 1. Okay, and then you go on your calendar days. All right, so everything else, we leave it at that alone. Always make sure here they haven't extended their days, okay? Now, if they have shortened their days, better for you, right? Maybe they want to go 10-day for the loan, good, leave it alone. But if they go 21 days, then make a note of that, highlight it, okay? Excuse me. Same thing goes with your appraisal, 21 days, right? Okay, let's move on. Okay, now right here, when it comes to the TOPA, right? TOPA is a form we use when we want the tenant to vacate the property, or we want the tenant to remain in the property as a tenant. So either or. Okay, so if you see this TOPA that has been selected, okay, make a note of that. Okay, and also go and review that TOPA. Are they asking for the tenant to vacate the property, or they're asking for the tenant to remain in the property? Okay, the TOPA would say that, okay? And here it is, okay? On N1, seller's delivery of documents. How many days?
7.
7 days, Margaret, exactly, okay?
Yeah.
And this is why it's very crucial, okay? Because now, what would happen if you provide disclosures on the 7th day? What would happen? Anybody knows? Does that mean that now the buyer has 24 days to remove contingencies because the seller did not provide disclosures from the beginning? What do you think? They would just buy time for the buyer and we give them extra days for this contingency to get removed instead of 17 days Are we done doing 24 days?
You would do a notice to perform, right?
Yes. You would do a notice to perform to the seller, right? A notice seller to perform, right? NSP. But that'll be coming from the buyer to the seller, right? And it also goes both ways. If the seller does not remove any contingencies, right, on the 17th day, then you can also what? Provide a notice to buyer to perform, right? From the seller to the buyer. Okay, let's move on. Okay, same thing with the HOA. I'm sorry, with the escrow holder, 5 days to provide back to the signing escrow instructions back to the escrow holder, right? Time to pay HOA fees, 3 days after acceptance. Install smoke alarms, carbon monoxide, and water heating bracing, 7 days, right? And also any evidence of the representative authority, 3 days after acceptance, okay? Okay, so any questions on page 2? All right, let's move on. So when it comes to the property, when it comes to anything that's included or excluded, right? Also make a note of this, okay? Make sure what they're asking for to be included in the sale, okay? Because if you don't counter back on some items they're asking to keep, right? And you leave it alone, and the seller didn't want to leave those items behind, guess who's gonna pay for those items? You are, the agent, because you forgot to address, to counter back on the items the buyer wanted to keep at the close of escrow. The stove, the refrigerator, the washer and dryer, dishwasher, microwave, right? Anything else, right? And again, is a dishwasher personal property or real property?
Personal.
Personal property, exactly. Right? So please go through this, okay? Also highlight your P1. Regardless if the seller has mentioned to you, okay, hey, Mark, just to let you know, we're gonna leave the washer and dryer behind. Don't worry about it. Even though they have told you that and you put that in your MLS, right? That the washer and dryer is included in the sale, always, regardless, still remind them again. You know, I know you have told me that you want to leave the washer and dryer behind. Are you still okay with that? Yes or no? Ask them again. Okay, so please highlight P1. And everything to be excluded, also on items to be excluded, also please highlight P2. Okay, here comes the fun part. Okay, Q, letter Q. When it comes to allocation of costs, okay, please keep in mind, when it comes to this cost, it's only the report, okay? It doesn't say who is to pay for the work on those reports. Again, when it comes to reports, it's only asking who is to pay for the report, not the work in the report. So if they're asking for the termite report, okay, that's it. They're only asking for the termite report. They're not asking for the work to be done on the report. Otherwise, note it. Okay, and we'll go to that step right now, okay? Now, I have seen this a lot, okay? I have seen it blanked, seller's choice, okay? So when it comes to all this, okay, make a note of this, okay? If you see seller's choice, please highlight Q1. Same thing with your term report, Q2. right? Who is to pay? Now, if it's paid by the seller, by the buyer, leave it alone. No need to highlight. Anything that is paid by the buyer, leave it alone. Okay? But if they put seller's choice, then guess what? Highlight it. Okay? Okay. So most likely you will see an offer like this. Okay? They're asking for the NHD to be paid by the seller, seller's choice, termite report by the seller. Okay? Smoke alarms, carbon monoxide, heat and bracing paid by the seller, any government requirement point of sale. Now, Q5 and Q6, what do they mean by the government required point of sale? And the government required point of sale, inspection report and corrective remedial action. Does anybody know what do they mean by that? Are they saying the government, the state of California, to come in and make some requirements on some inspections? So the Q5 and Q6 is also known the city pre-sale inspection reports.
Is this from the cities that require a pre-sale? Okay.
Yes, Margaret, exactly. Okay. So on Q1, right? So if, for example, they have put a sellers right there, okay? They want you to provide, again, the city pre-sale report from that city. Again, Southgate, Linwood, Compton, Gardena, Beverly Hills, Azusa, the list goes on, right? Bell Gardens, Maywood, HP. Now, on Q6, you gotta be very careful now, okay? Because now right here, they're asking to what? For the corrective remedial action. What does that mean?
The report that shows the correction made from the inspection report.
Exactly. So a lot of us do not counter back this part right here. And if it says the seller, guess what? They need to correct those violations. Bring the house to permits or correct anything that is not up to code. And it says right here on bold letters, right? Corrective remedial actions. On Q5, it's only asking for the report, right? But here on Q6, they're asking to what? To be corrective, to take action on the remedial actions. So bring up the code, get the permits, or whatever needs to be done to make the house done right under the eyes of the city. So this is something that I would definitely want to counter back. In case your seller doesn't want to do any corrections on their city report. So make a note of that. So if you're in Southgate, in Compton, Long Beach, Gardena, and in other cities, okay, make a note of that if you see this here, okay? Escrow fees, okay? Escrow fees, Q9. I seen this as well. They only put the sellers to pay for the escrow fees, okay? You definitely want to counter back this as well, Q9, okay? And also, who's going to be the escrow holder? They put seller's choice. I'm going to counter that back as well. When it comes to the owner's title insurance policy, well, it's very customary for the seller to pay for the title insurance, leave it alone. But just worry about the seller's choice, okay?
So Freddie,
yes,
real
Brenda.
quick.
Yes,
I was just saying that some of the experiences I've had with writing offers, they counter who is going to be the escrow holder and who's going to be the title holder.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the one thing I know that usually sellers counter.
Right. And we're now on when we do the counter offers, I'm gonna go line by one line and address that issue when it comes to the escrow and the title as well. Okay. And yes. And again, keep in mind, okay, please keep in mind that if you put your own escrow holder's name and your own title and also your own NHD company here, please, that is not the deal breaker. Again, that is not the deal breaker. The deal breaker is going to be the price, the terms, and conditions of the offer. But if you put if you put here Castlehead escrow or ABC escrow and Orange Coast Title or ABC, they're not gonna they're not gonna just refuse your offer because you wrote Castlehead. Most likely they will refuse the offer because most likely you came with a lower offer on the sales price. Maybe you put a 90-day escrow. Maybe you put a very low down payment or initial deposit. Who knows what? But escrow, title, NHD, that is not gonna be your deal breaker. Trust me, it's not. And I have seen a lot of you guys still, to this date, you still put in seller's choice or you leave it blank. Please put something there. Okay, you will get a counter back regardless who you put down right there. Okay, let's go back. So when it comes to the county, city, it's also paid by the seller. It's very common. The HOA fees is also paid by the seller as well. Okay, any private transfer fees is already by default by the seller. Okay, and same thing now right here. I have seen as well, they have selected the seller, this case, but sometimes they put the buyer to waive it or they leave it blank. Okay, if they leave it blank, please do not assume automatically that the buyer is waiving it or the buyer doesn't want the home warranty. Again, let me repeat myself. If this part here is left blank, do not assume the buyer is waiving it or do not assume the buyer does not want the home warranty. Keep in mind that we have a lot of unexperienced agents out there from other offices who do not know how to fill out an offer properly. So it's our job to what? To correct it. But you said, for Freddy, but they didn't ask you for it. They don't want it. No, you don't know that. We don't know that. So we got to do a counter back on this to let the buyer be aware. Do you want a home warranty or you don't? Because if you do, guess what? The seller is not gonna pay for the home warranty. Okay.
Would you repeat that again? The seller on the.
We'll go through that, Margaret. I'm just making actually a point. I'm just trying to put a point right now across right now. But once we reach to the counter offers, I'm gonna go line by line how to put everything together.
Okay.
Okay. My light won't go on. Okay. All right. So now right here. So also make a note on Q18. Okay, now letter R, other terms. So now right here, we got to be very smart. Okay. What are they asking for? What do they want? And a lot of people here, okay, they will go ahead and put a termite. Oh, I'm sorry. Right, sell to pay for term completion. Right, what else? What else have you seen out there?
Now, when you say completion, termite completion, does that mean the report?
No,
or
that means the work.
Pardon?
That means the work on the report.
Oh, the work, okay.
Yes. Okay, let's see what else. Now, keep in mind everything that I'm writing down is what I have seen, okay, on the sky slope. Even though the homework is right here, but they write it again. What else have seen? So here's a few points that I have seen before, okay? So Margaret, yes. So when they're asking for the term, okay, for the seller to pay for the termite completion, okay, they're asking for the work to be done on the report.
Okay.
Okay. Second one, seller to pay for the lender required repairs, right? It's another one. Keep in mind when the question, what are those? One is an FHA or VA, okay, and sometimes very seldom unconventional. The appraisal will make any suggestions or any requests for the lender to approve the loan, right? When it comes to any anything is wrong with the property here. And here's the last one, seller. So the appraiser is going to make any notations on the report, and most likely going to request the seller, right, to do those reports for the loan to get approved and to move forward with that transaction.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that, right? Per contract, we know per contract, the seller is not obligated to do any lender required repairs per contract. This is why they put it here in writing. Same thing, right? Now, per contract, okay, if the buyer has requested for the seller to evict the tenant, right, and they had agreed upon that agreement, right, and if the seller does not evict or provide the property to be vacant at the close of escrow, then the seller will be breach of contract per contract, okay? Home warranty, it's already here. To provide the property vacant at the close of escrow, or same thing, and to work for any, now right here, this is also redundant because it's what? It's already on Q6, okay? So, yeah, so the seller for any work to be corrected from the city presale, it's already on Q6. Same thing goes with the home warranty. Okay, it's already here. But again, a lot of just, they put that again. I don't know why. Okay, so any questions so far on page 3 on the grid? Okay, let's move on. Okay. All right, so nothing else is here. We're just gonna skip to the last pages here. Okay, so if you're gonna do okay, everything that I went through, we want to do now a counter back to the buyer. Okay, but before you do that, okay, I want you guys to go to page 15. Okay, page 15 of the RPA or the purchase contract, right? And I want you guys to select right here. Okay, paragraph 33. Okay, because most of you guys, yes, most of you guys write a counter back, but never select this box. Never, never, never. Okay, so you guys need to select that box on paragraph 33A. You need to disclose and identify that you're gonna present them with a counter offer. Okay, we didn't have this option on the previous offer. Now we do. Okay, now why is this very important to select this box? Okay, and sometimes you also gotta also select box 2 right here, a backup offer addendum, BUO. Because if you don't select this box here and you present a counter offer, right? And you sign the offer, and then you also provide a counter offer, but you never select this box here, that buyer's agent can interpret it that, you know what? Well, wait a minute. Since they never select this box, maybe they didn't want us to do a counter offer. And they did sign the offer, so I'm just gonna go based on the offer instead of the counter offer. So this is why it's very crucial to always on your offers, select attach
Counter offer.
counter offer. Exactly, Eva. Yes, always. Okay. And that's it. Sign it and let's move on to your counter offers. So any questions on the things that we went through right now with the offer? Because now we're getting ready to write a counter offer.
Mhm.
Okay. So here it goes. Okay. So let me open my counter offers now. Okay. So when you're going to do a counter offer, okay, if you only have one offer, which is only one offer on hand, you only do it on your seller's counter offer. Okay. And it says here what? May not be used as a multiple counter offer.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Well, it means that if you have more than two offers on the table that you're going to present, or you already have presented to the seller, then you got to use seller's multiple counter offer. Yes, okay. And that's going to be your SMCO, right? SMCO. Oops. So here it is. Okay. So for multiple offers, you got to use card form SMCO, seller's multiple counter offer. Okay. So let me ask you now, if you only have one offer, can you use this form to trick the other party that you have two offers? Please don't. Be ethical. Okay. Be ethical. Because, you know, in their business, we definitely got to be ethical. Don't cheat the system. Don't lie to the other party.
Exactly.
Okay. Because, of course, you don't want that to happen to you. And yes, a lot of agents do this. It happens, right? But again, sooner or later, it's going to come back to them. But if you're helping the seller, please be honest, be truthful, and only use the regular seller's counter offer.
Yes.
Okay. So let's go back to that offer. Okay. Now, okay. Okay, here it is. Okay. So card form SEO, right? Number one on top. Today's date. Okay. Okay. Today's date. Okay. So now, this is a counter offer to the purchase agreement or buyer's counter offer number one or other, right? But most likely this is what? A counter offer to the purchase agreement. Okay. Now, if you go to the page 1 of the purchase contract, on the upper left side, there it says date prepared, right? Naomi, what date do you have there, Naomi? And please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute.
Okay, now I'm just trying. You said we got a seller kind of. Is that on this the RPA or is it on the?
Yes, ma'am. The RPA.
I'm looking for it. I don't see it.
Okay, on the page 1 of the RPA, what date do you have on top on the upper left corner? Date prepared.
Oh, date prepared. Date prepared.
Who can anybody give me a date on that offer? When did we do the offer?
10/25.
I don't know. I didn't see the original date that you had, but I would say the date that you write the offer.
Yes. Okay.
Like today's date.
Right. So if you see that date prepared, okay, that date prepared goes right here. So let's pretend that offer was written yesterday. Okay. So yesterday was what? The 24th, right? So always keep an eye on that date prepared, because that date prepared, it comes into play when it comes to our counter offers, when it comes to anything else that it says dated, okay? Because you're saying the purchase contract, right, which was dated on the date prepared, the 24, okay? It's not the date that it was signed. It's not the date that it was presented to you. It was the date that it was prepared. Okay? Because most likely you might have an offer that it was prepared yesterday, but it was signed today, for example, right? But always rely back on the date prepared. Does that make sense to you guys? Yes? Okay. So purchase contract, date prepared on the property known as, right? Main Street, right? Okay. Now, I have seen this as well, okay? You guys know your seller's name, right? Sally Seller. And I have seen from offers, they come the other way, okay? I have seen that the buyer's name is left blank. Why is that? Well, Freddy, I don't know the buyer's name. Do you guys know the buyer's name?
Yes, you go to property profile.
No, the buyer's name, Eva.
Oh, the buyer name? Yeah, it is the buyer.
On the RPA, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I should
But
know.
you guys have the buyer's name from the RPA, from the purchase contract. But guess what? I have seen this that is left blank. Why is that? Please do not leave any names blank. Okay. So the buyer's name is on the purchase contract, right?
Right.
Bob Buyer. Right? There it is. Okay. So now we're going to start writing our counter offers. And always start with number 1. Keep in mind, everything that when it comes to real estate is based on paragraphs and letters and numbers, right? So it's your paragraph 1C1, okay? So, Miss Urena, what was the first thing that I asked you guys to look out for? And please unmute yourself.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes, I may. What was the first thing for you guys to look out for on page 1?
Oh, on the date, prepared.
No, but when it comes to, well, that's one, right? But we're getting ready to do a counter back on the offer.
Okay.
The price.
No, the number 1 thing, the first thing that we got to look for.
The price.
No, it's not the price, Eva. It's one of them. Here.
What kind of loans?
No.
The down
It
payment.
says 2 or more.
The terms.
No. Okay.
Oh.
Get your offer. Here goes again. Okay. It's gonna be the confirmation of agency.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The confirmation of agency. Okay.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Make sure that it's fully filled out. Now, if, for example, let's put Miss Bailey and Miss Urena, right? Downey and Southgate. A dual agency, right?
Yes.
But Miss Bailey, she's helping the seller. Miss Urena is helping the buyer. But Miss Urena, she put single. She's helping the buyer, and Miss Bailey is helping the seller, right? So Miss Bailey is gonna do what? How can we correct that, Miss Bailey?
Put in a dual agency.
Exactly. So let's pretend, okay, that another agent forgot to put a dual agency when it's under the same brokerage, okay? So we gotta put here number 1, okay?
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Okay. Parties to be aware that this transaction is a dual agency.
Okay.
If for whatever given reason, they only selected a single party, right? On the confirmation of agency. Yes?
Ready?
Yeah.
Yes, Eddie.
You mind me interjecting real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
All right. So the whole point of Freddy giving you that list of stuff is to check. If it's already good, then leave it alone. You don't have to counter it. The whole point of countering is if they happen to leave something out or is something that your seller does not agree upon.
Thank you, Eddie. Okay, so that's how it is. Okay, so if it's correct, leave it alone. If it's not, then address it. Now, okay, so that's number one. But now let's go to the sales price, right? What is our sales price? The offer is going for 600,000, right? And our asking price is, I'm sorry, our sales price is 625, and they're asking 600,000, right? So now we're gonna do what? We're gonna counter back on that sales price, correct? So right here, when I would put what? Sales price to be 625.
No. But why?
Okay. Sales price to be 625.
Oh,
Yes?
count for the same price. Okay.
No. Right now we offer 600,000 even. Okay. Second thing, right? Second item. Number two. Let's say they want to do a 45-day escrow, right?
Okay.
Yes. So now we want to do what? Close of escrow. So close of escrow shall be what? 30 days after acceptance. Yes? Let me get my offer around.
I thought you had 30 days on there on the RPA.
Well, let's pretend it's 45-day escrow.
Okay.
45-day escrow. What's the next point? Come on, help you folks. What's the next point?
Inspection.
No.
No.
Come on.
Investigations or?
No, those are contingencies, Brenda. Remember, on the RPA, what do we highlight?
Oh, okay.
Initial deposit?
Initial deposit?
Initial deposit, right?
Okay.
Right? Initial deposit, right? So we want the what? Number 3 to be what? What do we want for number 3?
Initial deposit or initial
Yes.
deposit to be
3%.
5%.
3%. No, 3%. So buyers, right? Initial deposit to be
3%.
3%
3%? Oh,
3% of
the
the
price.
sales price,
The price.
right? So buyers initial deposit, initial deposit, right? To be 3% of sales price. And please do not forget to put sales price, because depending on what type of sales price it's going to be, we want it to be 3%, right?
Right.
Good. All right. What else?
Remove contingency.
No, let's go in order, Eva.
Okay.
Let's go in order of the offer.
All right.
What's the next point? Do we care for the down payment? We don't, right? So is that it for page 1?
Inspections.
Is that it for page 1? Margaret, Eva?
Yes.
Yes, that's it, right? So
Yes.
page 2, they're asking for closing costs, right? On what was that? On G1, right? G1, they're asking for closing costs, right? Is your seller willing to pay for closing costs?
Yes, 15,000.
No.
Or adjust the price or say no. Like,
Okay, let's pretend we're not going to pay for any closing costs.
Okay.
Right? So how do we take that away? So seller
Seller
will not
pay
pay
credits or
any credits
any credit or closing
for buyers
for buyers or closing costs. Seller will not pay.
Now, real fast, here, let me put something else here as well, okay? Okay, so they're asking for a closing cost, right? For a credit, correct? What else are they asking for? Repairs, right? So can we put it here? Seller will not pay for any credits or any repairs?
Close.
Any repairs or credits
required by the lender.
Well, that's not enough.
Okay.
So seller will not pay for any repairs or credits for buyer's closing costs. So now you already eliminated 2 in one paragraph, in one sentence. Yes?
Okay.
Okay, so that's out of the way, right? What's next on page 2?
Set 3. Buyer.
What if they're asking for 21 days for the loan contingency?
To have more time.
Eva, we're helping the seller, not the buyer.
7, you can reduce it back to 17 or 14.
Okay, so buyer's contingency, right?
Continues. 15 days, 17 days.
14 days.
14, okay. Initial. Depository.
Okay, so buyer's loan contingency shall be removed 14 days after acceptance, right? Or if you want to get more strict, right?
Seller will not pay.
Buyer's contingencies, all of them, right? Instead of just a loan, let's go 14 across the board, right? What else?
Investigation, huh?
It's all here, Eva. 14 days, everything's included here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Unless you want to make a note of that, right? So you could also say, then if you want to do that, so buyers
should investigate. Oh, okay. Any repair.
put 10 days, right? After acceptance. Right? Okay, folks, keep when you go play with the dates, like the loan, right? The loan, the appraisal, home inspections, again, whatever those 6 items that we went through, right? When it comes to disclosures, inspections, investigations, reports, appraisal, loan, right? You always play with the numbers, the days, right? What else? What is this another that we went through? On page 2, anything else?
No, 14 days.
Okay, should we move on to page 3?
Buyer home.
Yes, Brenda.
Do you change like if a seller occupies the property? Do you hypothetical situation for that? So maybe they need more time. Like they'll ask for like maybe 3 days or after closing or something like that, or?
Yes, you can. So you're saying that seller needs to remain in the property for 3 days, right?
Or a week or whatever, yeah.
Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead and leave that at the end.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so what else? Anything else from page 2? Okay, let's go to page 3 then, okay? So washer and dryer. They're asking for the washer and dryer. Are they gonna leave it? So let's pretend, even though they didn't ask for it, or let's say they did ask for it, right? But the seller, you know what, he changed his mind. You know, we're not gonna leave the washer and dryer. So washer and dryer to be. So washer and dryer to be included in the sale, right? Even though, yes, it was mentioned on the MLS, even though it was there, you know what? We change our mind, right? What else? That's it, right? So let's look Q1. My NHD, right? Or I'm sorry, the NHD. So they're asking for the seller to pay for it. Okay, so so number 8, NHD to be with who? My NHD. Right, that's the name of the company right there. What's next? Number 9. Let's see. Okay, good. Term report. Margaret.
Yes.
Do you want to pay for the term report, or should we skip it as well? We're not paying for nothing.
So if the termite report comes back that certain items are needed to be repaired or replaced, what is the norm for the seller to pay?
Well, if they're asking for the full completion, they're asking for the other work to be done and paid for on the report.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unless you want to say seller's willing to pay half of it or partial, you know, but partial was partial. You definitely gotta identify either a dollar amount or half of it or whatever that is. So in this case, even though they're asking for the term report, I'm gonna say, you know what, they don't want to pay for any report. So seller will not pay for any and completion. Okay, so seller will not pay for any term report or work completion. So no report, no work. That's it. What else? Oh, they're asking for that page. Okay, escrow, right? On the escrow, they want the seller to pay for it. Okay, right here. So when it comes to escrow, okay, so escrow holder shall be and okay, so escrow holder shall be with castle head escrow, right? And buyer seller shall pay with their own fees because they were asking for the seller to pay for all the fees, right? Number 11. Title to be now. If you want to put the name of your escrow holder's name, you may do so right here, okay? Stacy, Eva, whatever you want to use, okay? And also same thing with your title company as well. Okay, what's next on that? Page 3. The home warranty, right? Yes, the home warranty. If the home warranty, again, if the home warranty is not there, they're not, the buyer didn't select it. Okay, Margaret?
Yes.
If they didn't select it, please do not assume they don't want it or they're waiving it.
So we should put that. Seller will not pay for.
Exactly. So seller
Will not pay
will
for.
not pay for
Home warranty.
buyers.
Oh, for buyer, okay.
Home warranty. Okay. Because now if they do want it, right? You already told them from the beginning, look, if you want the home warranty, we're not going to pay for it. Be my guest, you pay for it. Because you didn't ask for it at the beginning.
Okay.
Okay. But do not assume if it's not there, if it's left blank, okay, do not assume they don't want it or they're waiving it. No. Okay. Now, if they don't come back and counter that back, if they don't come back and do a counter on that offer, on this counter offer, and then you definitely got to request a waiver. Okay. But there'll be something else. Okay. Let's see what else. Anything else? Okay, now, Brenda, Ms. Bailey, you're asking for additional days, right?
What's that?
You're asking for the seller to remain in the property?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, keep in mind for that, Brenda, okay?
You have to do the form.
Right there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, you could definitely say so. Seller to remain in possession 3 days.
Oh, but then you won't even.
What?
No, never mind.
Say it, say it.
No, I was thinking about, no. I was thinking about something else. Never mind. Okay.
What happened?
No, it's okay.
All right.
I got mixed up with something.
Okay, but again, if the seller needs to remain in the property, right? 3 days after the close of escrow, right? We need to attach card form what? SIP.
SIP? Okay.
Yes. Keep in mind, for 29 days or less, we use card form SIP. For more than 30 days, we use card form RLAS. Okay, which stands for residential lease after sale, 30 days or more. Per the state of California, any person that remains 30 days or more becomes automatically a tenant. Automatically, that's state law. So if you don't want your seller to become a tenant, then he needs to remain 29 days or fewer. Seller's license to remain in possession, addendum, SIP. Okay, so it's here.
So, okay.
So,
yes,
Freddy,
yes.
And that phone say IP, so they can remain on the property from 3 days to 29 days.
From 1 day to 29 days.
Oh, from 1 day to 29.
Yes.
And from 3 and more?
Okay, Eva, again, the card form SIP is for 1 day
1
to 29 days.
Okay. What about after 29 days? And then it's gonna be a contract?
Yes, because
Okay.
now that becomes a tenant and you need to have this form.
Become a tenant, okay.
Yeah. RLAS.
RLA, okay.
I have a question.
Yes, Margaret.
You check seller license to remain in possession.
Yes.
What does it mean, license?
Well, he's been granted to remain in the property.
Oh, okay.
Yes. No, it's not about license, having a license for the seller. No. It's just he's being granted by the buyer to remain in the property.
Okay.
Okay, Freddie?
Yes, Brenda.
So I know you're doing, you're doing it this way for training.
Yes, ma'am.
Where you're gonna bring up just doing an addendum when you have a long list of
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, if you have all these items, 13 items, right? Automatically, when you print, it's gonna give you a TOA, a text overflow addendum, automatically. If you don't use an addendum, right? On this case, if you go to print, automatically all this is going to be wiped out, right? It's going to see attached TOA, which is your text overflow addendum. And on that text overflow addendum, line 1 to 13 will show up, and it's going to rephrase back to your counter offer. But if you don't think it might not work, then I'll definitely want to use this. Okay, I'll do this attach addendum number 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and highlight everything that I did here, right? Copy. And then I'm going to open an actual addendum. So, okay, let's pretend, right? So there it is, right? Now right here, okay. Now this is addendum to my seller's counter offer, right?
Right.
So addendum number 1, right? The following terms and conditions are hereby incorporated and made paid part of what? Is not part of the purchase contract. It's not, okay? Or the residential lease month to month, right? Or transfer disclosure, right? It's other, to other. And it's gonna be what? To the seller's counter offer number 1.
Okay.
Dated when? Today's date, right? And that's how it is. So we're doing a reference back to the seller's counter offer. Right? Does that make sense to you guys? So on the other one, we couldn't fit everything, right? So now we go back to the counter offer. Okay, and we're gonna actually delete all this stuff. And then right here, number 1, see attached addendum.
Yeah.
Number 1. It's here and it's here again. And then we provide the counter offer and also the addendum as well. Are we good on that? Or did I lose you guys? So take a picture of this if you didn't take note. Because now we're gonna do a counter back on this seller's counter offer. We're good? Take a picture? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Let's move on. So now we present this to the buyer's agent, right? And the buyer's agent is gonna what? Present to their buyer. So now let's pretend now we're working with the buyer, right?
Freddy.
Yes, Eva.
I have one doubt. I see, and the date at October the 25th, is that not the date when when you received the offer?
No, Eva, it's not. Because we're making this part of what?
Part of the counter.
Exactly. And when was the counter done?
Okay.
Right. Now the counter, right? The counter offer, Eva, okay? It is a reference back to the what? To the offer.
Okay, so the counter, and then if
The counter, it goes back to the,
it has to be the prepared date. Okay, the prepared offer.
yes.
The day of the prepared offer. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Okay. Because again, this is reference to the counter offer, right? This is, I'm sorry. This is reference to the purchase contract, right? The counter offer. But your addendum is in reference to what?
To the
your counter
to
offer, which was dated today.
I got it. Yeah, I got
Yes?
it. Thank you. Thank you, Freddy.
You're welcome. So now let's go to our BCO, right? BCO. Okay, BCO, buyer's counter offer, right? Right there. So now, keep in mind that when you're doing counter offers, they have to do their own sequence. Okay, so this is not gonna be number 2. This is gonna be your buyer's counter offer number 1. Okay, number 1. Okay, so now let's pretend it's the next day, right? The next day, tomorrow, Wednesday, right? The 26th, right? They got it the next day, right? Now, this is a counteroffer to the seller's what? Counteroffer number 1, right? And Eva, when was the counteroffer done, Eva?
The 25.
The 25, exactly.
Yes.
Right? There it is, right?
Yes.
And again, make sure to have the full names of the parties here, address. So now, it's our turn to do what? To counter back on the seller's counteroffer, right? So
Yes.
number 1. So if you have our notes, right, that we just did right now on the counteroffer. So what would we like to counter back? Well, let's say we want to counter back at the price, right?
The price,
Okay. So sales price to be
600.
620, 615.
Oh, okay, 620. Okay.
615.
615. Okay.
Okay. 615, right? Now, keep in mind, if everything else, the buyer has agreed upon the seller's counter offer, that's it, you're done.
Oh,
You only
okay.
counter back the items you wish to counter back, that you wish to modify.
The item you want to negotiate it, right?
Exactly, the items you want to negotiate. Exactly, okay? No need to put this, okay? No need to put, okay?
Everything, right?
No need to do this, okay? All other terms to remain.
Should remain the same. Okay.
No need to put that down.
Oh,
No
you
need
don't
to,
need it. We don't need it. Okay.
you don't need it.
It?
You don't need it.
We don't need it. All right.
You don't need
Okay.
it. Some may just do that, but you don't have to do that, okay? Okay, so what will be our next thing to negotiate, Eva? Can we negotiate, let's see, can we negotiate the close of escrow?
The days. The
Okay.
days.
You know, this buyer really needs 45 days.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back to, you know, on the regular offer, it was 45 days. And then we counter back 30 days.
Then
we go back to what?
Back to the
45 days.
Okay.
Right, so again, we write close of escrow shall be 45 days.
45 days, right.
After acceptance, right?
Right.
Okay, so what else can we do counter back? Let's see.
Oh, okay. Can we negotiate, right, that deposit should be, the initial deposit should be 2% or?
Yeah, again, whatever they want to negotiate, yes, you can. Right? So again, so buyer's initial deposit shall be
2%
to
of the sale price.
Of the sales price. Okay. What else?
Seller, the seller repair, seller.
Okay. Again, you really want to help your buyer. Good for you. All right. So seller to
repair,
pay for lender.
For lender requirement.
Required. Right? Again, we're not asking for closing costs, but at least we want the seller to pay for what? For any lender required repairs. But now, please, you gotta, now, here's something that I want to let you guys know, okay? We definitely gotta be very careful, okay? Because if you're helping the buyer and you're asking for the seller to pay for any lender required repairs, okay? What happens if there's none to be done? Then you lose out. So me personally, I would definitely ask for closing costs instead of
Okay,
lender
okay.
require repairs.
Yeah, you're right. Right. Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes, it
Because
is.
if the appraisal comes clean, you know, we're thinking, because, you know, based on our mind, you know, we see some stuff that looks kind of doesn't look clean or kind of looks kind of shady or not good, right? And automatically we put a contractor's hat. You know what? I know that the appraiser will make a note of that. That's wrong. We as agents, we always think ahead of the game.
Right.
But again, we're not contractors. We're not. What are we? We are agents, realtors. So we don't know for a fact if that appraisal is going to make a note for those repairs to be done. We don't know that. We don't. So I'd rather ask for money for my buyer for closing costs.
Right.
So I want to take this away. So I'm going to ask for seller to pay, right? And then again, ask for how much you want him to pay. $10,000 for closing costs.
Okay.
For buyers,
closing cost. You're right. Yes.
Right? Does that make sense? Yes.
It makes sense. Right.
Because Eva, you don't know, right? Eva, you don't know that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Right.
Okay. So what else can we ask for our buyer now? How about the contingencies? What's next? Yeah, contingencies, right? You know, we asked 21 days on the offer. They came back to 14 days. Can we go back to 17 days? Yeah, let's go 17 days.
Okay.
Right? So buyers. Oh, shall remove.
Contingency.
And again, please keep in mind, if you believe that you're gonna be writing a lot of stuff, then use an addendum. Okay?
Okay.
Use an addendum. What else? What else? Let's see what else we have here.
You have ED after a remove or D after remove. Should it just be remove or just so?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
remove. Thank you, Brenda. Remove. What else? Let's see. What about our home inspection? That's okay. 10 days, it's fine. What about the washer and dryer? Do we want the washer and dryer? No. NHD, it's okay with that. How about the termite report and the completion? Can we ask for the termite report? At least.
At least,
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. Let's at least give us a termite report. You know, we don't care for the work, but at least let me know from the beginning.
Exactly.
What am I buying?
Right.
Right. So. Because with the actual term report, we know what we're buying. You see, if the house is infested, if it needs to be fumigated, it needs to be treated. We don't know this, but with the report, you know, okay, you know, if it's okay, I'll move forward. If it's not, then most likely I will walk away.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. What else? Let's see what else. What else do we have here? Okay, so escrow's okay. Title company's okay. Okay, they're asking me, they're not gonna pay for the home warranty. And I'm going to tell my buyer's agent, hey, wait a minute. You didn't put a home warranty? No, I forgot. Then you pay for my home warranty.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So now, because whose fault was it when I put in the home warranty? The buyer's agent, right?
The buyer agent, right.
Exactly. So now, buyer's agent shall pay for buyer's home warranty not to exceed with Old Republic. Right? Because again, whose fault was it that he didn't get the home warranty? The buyer's agent. Whose job is that? The buyer's agent. So most likely, hey, if I'm the buyer, I'm gonna blame my buyer's agent for not doing that for me. Right?
Right.
So what else, Eva? What else? That's it, right? I think we're done.
believe, yes, I believe everything is okay. You know, after that, those 7 items, those are the most important, protecting our buyer.
Okay. What about the seller to remain in the property? Are you okay with that? Yes, we're okay with that. You know, we're good.
Yeah, we are okay.
Okay. Okay. So we're done with that, right?
Right.
Perfect. So we're good with that. We're good. Yes, sign. Okay. So the buyer's going to sign here, right? So now let's say, so we have that, right? So take a picture of this, because now we're going to do another counter offer. Another counter offer. We're not done here. Remember, real estate is about what? About negotiating, right?
Negotiated, right.
So now, okay, so now let's say, right? Let's pretend now that we have received another offer that came to the table. So we have the original, which is this one, and another offer that came in. Can we use now a seller's multiple counter offer?
Yes.
Yes, right? So now we could use a seller's multiple counter offer, right? And now will this be number 1 or number 2?
Number
two.
Right.
Right? So now the next day, Thursday, right? And when did the buyer's counter offer come in? On a Thursday. Oh, the 26th, Wednesday, right?
Oh, so, the new offer. You say the new offer. Oh,
right.
Okay.
Because now we're one day ahead, right? On Thursday now. So now this is going to be based on what? The buyer's counter offer number 1, which was stated on the 26th.
Freddy,
yes.
Please listen to me.
Yes, Eva. I'm sorry, Estela.
No. Okay. Can you explain to us about the seller to pay $10,000 for buyer closing costs? This is including if the appraisal requests some repair?
No, we're only asking for the credits, not repairs.
Okay, if the appraisal coming for repair is not including, who's going to do that? The seller?
No,
who?
It's not. Now it's part 2. Now on that, it'd be a buyer's request for repairs, and you could now request and try to negotiate, right? The seller to pay for the repairs.
Okay, I want to make sure it's not including in the 10,000 for closing costs.
No.
Because it's different.
No, it's different. Keep in mind, closing costs, Estela, closing costs, it only applies for escrow, title, taxes, and loan. That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Great question, by the way. Great question. Okay, please do not assume, well, I'm getting 15,000 or 10,000 for closing costs. Will that cover my repairs? No. Closing costs is only for title, escrow, taxes, and loan. That's it. Okay, make a note of that. All right, let's move on.
Freddy,
so now we're gonna, yes?
Sorry, on the date where you have, so this is a multiple counter offer. So, okay, you put today's date the date that you're gonna prepare it, right?
Yes, on Thursday.
So the other date is not for the original RPA when you're addressing that particular client?
No, because now we're addressing it based on the buyer's counter offer right here.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
Yeah, no, we're addressing it based on the buyer's counter offer, which was dated the day before, right? Yesterday, right? Or the 26th, right?
Okay.
Yesterday.
Which is right here, right? Oh, sorry, wrong one. Wait, where's my PCO? Where's my PCO? Yeah, right there, right?
Hi, Rebecca.
Yes? Okay. Okay, so now we go back to our
Zoom meeting. Can I call?
Okay. Seller's multiple counter offer, right? And again, don't forget to put the names. So now what? Okay, now who wants to help me to be the seller's agent? Eva, thank you very much for your buyer's agent. Now I need somebody to counter back on the buyer, on the seller's agent. Come on.
Sales price to be $620.
Man, you're tough. Hey, nothing wrong with it. Okay, sales price.
Or wait. Or do you do highest and best? Or do you do, because if you're
highest and best, that's good.
Well, you know, I wouldn't use highest and best because well,
I get that a lot.
yeah, you do, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying it because now you have multiple offers, right?
Right. So
but now let me ask you, okay, now
so
would you put that on both?
You got to come up a little bit, right?
Now let me ask you, would you put that on both counter offers or just on this one?
On both.
Okay, you could do that. So what do you do? So sales price to be highest and best.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm cool. What else, Brenda?
Close of escrow shall be, you can go in the middle and say maybe 35 days.
Okay.
See. I should leave it like that 45.
Okay, what else?
Initial deposit.
Okay.
Back to 3%.
Yes, exactly.
That's good, Brenda.
I'll let somebody else go.
That's fine. Keep it up.
I ain't gonna pick up the whole thing.
Let's keep it up.
Seller shall not pay for, or you can negotiate the price. Maybe say go drop it down to 5,000 on that.
So
wait.
now, okay, let me stop with it, Brenda.
Wait.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish off.
No. Okay. Okay. Because you had seller, they had seller to pay for
$10,000, right?
$10,000
for closing costs.
So you can reduce it to 5.
Okay, but now here's the pick. Okay, but now if you're gonna give money back, then instead of doing highest and best, I'll put 630.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
Because what if the other offer comes lower, and this comes slightly higher?
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll be losing out money.
Exactly.
Okay. Right.
It's good point that.
Right. Yeah, right. It makes sense. Okay. It
makes sense, right? So how do you want to play it? You want to give it like that or highest and best?
Leave highest and best.
Okay. So what about the closing costs?
No closing costs.
So seller will not pay. Okay. What else? This is fun.
I know, right? You could leave numbers 5. You could leave the to contingencies.
Okay.
That's not a huge deal.
How about termite report?
You could do that. You could agree that a termite report is real cheap.
Okay. And that's it, right? You're done.
Mm-hmm.
So we're done, right?
Yeah.
That's it. All right. So most likely you will get another counter offer and they'll give you the sales price and everything else might agreed upon that, right? That's it. So this is a great exercise for all of us to comprehend and negotiate. Keep in mind that you might have multiple counter offers from the buyer and the seller coming, until they finally meet the minds, right? But never give up, folks. Never give up when you're helping your seller or your buyer. Always negotiate the best price, the best terms, the best conditions when it comes to your sellers and your buyers.
Right.
Okay. And also, on just a little quick note, when it comes to on the multiple counter offer, the seller will sign here, right? We know that, right? If the buyer has agreed, okay, most likely the buyer's gonna come and sign here as well, okay? If this was an acceptance of the buyer's offer, and then the seller needs to sign paragraph number 8. I have seen a lot of offers or counter offers in SkySlope that paragraph 8 has not signed. This only gets signed when the buyer has agreed without a subject attached counter offer. So Seller signs here for the counteroffer. Buyer agrees. Seller confirms. That's it. Okay, that's done. Okay, and then you have officially made a binding contract. And now you can open escrow. That's it. Okay, now let me start sharing my screen real fast. Okay. Okay, so now, okay, so let me actually stop recording as well.